Have you ever felt that knot in your stomach? That whisper in your ear telling you, don't do it. You're not good enough. What if you fail? That, my friends, is the voice of fear. And today, I want to talk about how that voice can build a prison around you, and more importantly, how you can break free. I want to tell you a story about a man named Arthur. Arthur wasn't a hero, he wasn't a CEO, he was a librarian, a man who loved books more than anything. He lived in a small, quiet town, in a small, quiet house, and lived a small, quiet life. From the outside, it looked peaceful. But on the inside, Arthur was in a constant battle. He was terrified. Terrified of public speaking, terrified of flying, terrified of rejection, even terrified of trying a new restaurant. His world, which should have been as vast as the stories in his library, had shrunk to the size of a postage stamp. His dream? To travel to Scotland. To see the misty highlands and ancient castles he'd only read about, he had a jar on his desk where he'd saved money for years. The jar was full, overflowing even. But every time he thought about booking the ticket, that voice would start. What if the plane crashes? What if you get lost? You don't know anyone there. You'll be all alone. So the money stayed in the jar, and Arthur stayed in his small, quiet town. One rainy afternoon, a young girl came into the library, looking for a book on courage. Arthur, being the expert he was, pulled out tales of knights and dragons, of explorers and adventurers. As he handed them to her, she looked up at him with wide, innocent eyes and asked, "Are you brave, Mr. Arthur?" The question hit him like a physical blow. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Was he brave? He who was afraid to order a different kind of coffee. He looked at the adventure stories in his hands, stories of people who faced their fears, and he felt like a fraud. That night, Arthur went home and stared at his travel jar. The glass reflected a man he didn't want to be anymore. The little girl's question echoed in his mind, "Are you brave?" He realized something profound. Fear wasn't protecting him. It was robbing him. It was stealing his dreams, his experiences, his life. He had been so focused on the asterisk what ifs, asterisk of failure, that he never considered the asterisk what if asterisk of success. What if the trip was amazing? What if he met incredible people? What if he discovered a part of himself he never knew existed? The very next day, with his heart pounding in his chest and his hands trembling so hard he could barely type, Arthur booked a one-way ticket to Edinburgh. It was the single most terrifying thing he had ever done. The 2 weeks leading up to the flight were hell. Every doubt, every fear screamed at him. But for the first time, he didn't listen. He packed his bags, said a temporary goodbye to his library, and got on that plane. And you know what? The plane didn't crash. He didn't get hopelessly lost. He wasn't alone. He walked the Royal Mile, he hiked in the Highlands until his legs ached. He sat in a pub and shared stories with strangers who quickly became friends. He felt the Scottish rain on his face and realized it wasn't scary, it was just wet. He wasn't just seeing the world he'd read about, he was living in it. When Arthur came back, he was a different man. Not because Scotland was magical, but because he had proven to himself that he was stronger than his fear. He started small. He tried that new restaurant. He signed up for a public speaking course. His world, once the size of a postage stamp, began to expand, page by page, like one of his beloved books. So I ask you the same question that little girl asked Arthur. Are you brave? What prison has fear built around you? What dream is sitting in a jar on your desk? Fear is a natural instinct. It's there to warn us of danger, but it's not supposed to be the one driving the car. The truth is, the thing you're most afraid of is rarely as terrifying as the regret of never trying. Your life is an unwritten story. Don't let fear be the author. Pick up the pen and write your own adventure. Start today, start small. Take that first terrifying step, because on the other side of that fear, that's where your life truly begins. And if the story resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe.